love. No, this level, it supersedes that. It goes above that. It goes beyond that. It goes ahead of that. This level is a level called loyalty. Because you see, loyalty, it goes beyond love. Loyalty, it goes a step further. Loyalty means that no matter what, I won't leave your side. Loyalty means that no matter what, I won't step away from you. I won't shy away from you. Now, there can be some conditions placed on loyalty, but generally speaking, the highest level of love you can show someone is the level of loyalty. You don't beat that. And this loyalty is what we have to have for our Imam. We like to claim that we have loyalty for our Imam. We like to claim that we would have been with our Imam, we would have been loyal to him in Karbala, we would have been standing alongside him in Karbala, we would have given our lives for him in Karbala. In fact, in our ziyarat, what do we say? بِأَبِي أَنْتَ وَأُمِّي. I would give my mum and my dad for you, Ya Imam. I would sacrifice my parents for you. And we spoke, when we spoke about love, about how sacrificing those you care about is a bigger deal than sacrificing yourself. Why? Because we care about those people more than we care about ourselves. I care about my parents more than I care about myself. I would rather get hurt myself than see my parents get hurt. And that's the reality of what care and love is. Here in the ziyarat, we say, Ya Imam, I would sacrifice my parents for you. Not just myself. That would be easier, but I would sacrifice my parents for you. But here's the thing. It's not quite that easy. It's not quite that simple to make these kinds of sacrifices. There's a story of a zakir, a speaker, a reciter. He says in his majlis one day, Oh Imam, if I were in Karbala, I too would have stood by your side. Oh Imam, if I were in Karbala, I would have been on that battlefield with your companions and I would have given my life for you, Ya Imam. He said that in one of his speeches, in one of his lectures. He said that night he goes to sleep and in his dream he sees the Imam. He sees the Imam and he rushes over to the Imam. He says, Salam, overcome with joy. And he says, Ya Imam, tell me, how can I serve you? What can I do for you? How can I help you in this moment? So the Imam, he says to him, look, turn around. Look ahead of you. The man turns around and he sees an army standing there. And they're all an army of archers. They have bow and arrows and they're ready to fire their arrows. The Imam says to this zakir, to the speaker, I want to read my salah. So the speaker says, Ya Imam, you read your salah. I will stand in front of you and make sure none of those arrows hit you. I'll protect you while you pray. The Imam accepts. So the Imam, he starts his salah. He does his takbiratul ihram. And this zakir, the speaker, he stands in front of the Imam, ready to protect him from all those arrows that are going to rain down. He sees that first arrow coming towards him. He's looking dead on at the arrow. He's got the arrow in his sights. It's flying towards him. And he's ready. I'm going to protect my Imam. I'm going to protect the Imam, whatever happens. I'm not going to let this arrow hit him. But as the arrow gets closer and closer, closer and closer, all of a sudden he flinches and ducks out of the way. He flinches and ducks out of the way and he sees, okay, right, that was one arrow, but that's not going to happen again. Stands up tall again, gets ready again, sees another arrow coming towards him. As the arrow gets closer, what does he do? He ducks out of the way again, he flinches. And he does it again and again until he hears the Imam complete his salah. He hears the Imam recite the salam, the final word of salah, and then he turns around. What does he see? He sees Imam Hussein alayhi salam there, covered in arrows, injured, hurt, bleeding, bruised. He runs over, he drops at the feet of the Imam. Oh Imam, forgive me, please, I'm so sorry, Ya Imam, I beg you, forgive me. Imam Hussein, he looks down, he runs his hand over this man's head, the speaker's head. He says, it's okay, don't worry, it's fine. He says, it's not a problem, it's not an issue. It's a dream, these aren't real arrows, don't worry about it. The Imam stops him for a second though, and he says to him, but next time you go on the mimbar and you wish to say, oh Imam, if I was in Karbala, I would have given my life for you. Just recognize what a big deal that is. Recognize how tough that is, how difficult that is. Understand for a moment what my companions did, what sacrifices they gave, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all to give your life. And if you want to know how much it really isn't easy to give your life, to sacrifice your life for the Imam, it's not easy. You want to know how difficult it truly is? Try sacrifice something in your life. We've used a few examples over the last few days. If you listen to music that's haram, try sacrifice that. If I were to tell you right now, if you listen to music that's haram, are you ready to say right now, in this moment, you know what? Done. I'm not going to listen to it ever again. You know what? Some of you might say, yeah, absolutely. But in the back of your mind, there'll be a feeling, can I really do it? It'll be tough. My whole life, never again. You know when our Imam returns, He's not going to come back and tell you, by the way, guys, you've got like 2-3 weeks, get your things ready and then come meet me. No. When the Imam calls you, you got to go straight away. If you can't give up that music right now, what makes you think you're going to be able to give up your entire life? You can't give up that relationship that you shouldn't be in, that you know is haram. What makes you think when the Imam says, give me your life, you're going to be ready to give it all up in that moment? If you can't make sacrifices in your life, you won't be able to sacrifice your life when the time comes. But those who can, those who are ready and able to sacrifice their life, those are the ones who we call loyal. And that's the level of love that we need to have for our Imam. Loyalty. Where you're ready to give up anything, no matter how much you care about it, no matter how much you think it matters to you, you're ready to give it up for the Imam. You want to see true loyalty? Go look at Karbala. You want to see true loyalty? 9th of Muharram. Night has fallen. Imam Hussein has gathered all of his companions in his tent. And he says to all of them, look, those armies out there, those tens of thousands, they're issues with me, not with you. Go. Save yourselves. Save your lives. Leave. They want to kill me. There's no need for you to die as well. You stay. You go. I'll stay. Nobody moves. Imam Hussein, he sees nobody moving and then he says, all right, look, I get it. If you leave now and you go back, let's say you came from Medina. When you get back to Medina, the people of Medina are going to be like, you left your Imam alone. How did you leave him there? You'll be ridiculed. You'll be disgraced there. So I'll tell you what. My women and my children of my family, they're here with me. If any of you wants to leave, I'll let you take one of them with you back to Medina. That way, when you get back to Medina and they say, how could you leave your Imam? You can turn around and you can say, no. The women and children of the Imam's family, they needed saving. They needed to escape Karbala. So I helped them escape. I brought them back. You won't be disrespected. You won't be dishonored. In fact, you'll be given a great status. You saved the family of Imam Hussein. Do that. If you want to leave, I'll give you that excuse to go with as well. You can take my family and save their lives. Still, nobody moves. Now Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he decides, right, here's what I'll do. It seems as though you're embarrassed about the people around you. They'll see you get up and leave. Your friends, your companions, the people that we've been traveling with for so long, your family members, you don't want them to see you leave. So what will I do? Imam Hussein turns out all of the candles, turns out all of the lights. Pitch black darkness in the tent of Imam Hussein. Anybody who wants to leave now, nobody's going to see them go. Nobody's going to see them leave. They'll be gone. Imam Hussein, he waits and he waits and he waits. Nobody seems to be moving. He turns the lights back on and he says to them, tell me, why is nobody going? Those armies out there, they want my blood. They want my life, not yours. Why aren't any of you leaving? And the reply came from all of them, Ya Aba Abdullah, if you're going to give your life, then we will give ours. And in fact, if you will give your life, then before that happens, we will have already given ours. Ya Aba Abdullah, we won't let you get hurt while we are still okay. That's what you call loyalty. That's what you call true loyalty to the cause of Aba Abdullah and Hussein. You want to be loyal, you got to be ready to give up everything without any excuses. Imam Hussein gave his companions excuses. He told them, I'll forgive you. He said, forgive you. He didn't even say that. He said, you won't have any issues against you. You'll go to Jannah. He said, you'll be considered amongst my shuhada. You'll be considered amongst the martyrs. And still nobody left. But for us, when it comes time to sacrifice something, we start making excuses. Oh, not right now. I've got exams. I don't want to mess up my routine. Oh, not right now. This is going on. I don't want to do that. Oh, all of these excuses, right? It's difficult to start mentioning excuses that we might use without mentioning the actual faults that we make as well. And I don't want to mention all of those faults, but we start making excuses. Oh, you know, it's not that big a deal. Everybody does it. It's normal. Just because it's normal, just because everybody does it, it doesn't mean it's halal. It doesn't mean it's allowed. Not everybody will be part of the Imam's army. There's 313 spaces open. You want to make it into that, you have to be better than everybody else. You have to be a level above. A level above love is the level of loyalty. That's the level you need to reach, where you don't make excuses. You're ready to give up everything and you're ready to give it up in an instant. There's no point where you stop and you hesitate. No, this is my Imam. This is his instruction. This is what he said. It is time for me to listen. So that's exactly what I'll do. Recite aloud, salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Loyalty means no matter what, we don't turn our backs on the Imam. I say the Imam. I say it a lot. The reality is that's our Imam. That's my Imam. That's your Imam. We hear the stories of how the companions were with Imam Ali, and we think, wow, amazing. Imagine living in the time of your Imam. We live in the time of our Imam. Our Imam is watching over us. He may be in ghaibah, sure. He may be hidden from us, but he is there. He is with us. In the same way, on a cloudy day, the sun might be hidden behind the clouds, but the sun's still there. The same way, on a cloudy day, we still get the benefit of the sun, even though it's hidden behind those clouds. The same way, our Imam, hidden behind that parda of ghaibah, hidden behind that curtain of hiding, that curtain of occultation. Just because we can't see him with our own eyes, it doesn't mean he's not there. It doesn't mean we're not benefiting from him. In fact, there is a time, in the time of our 8th Imam, Imam Ali al-Rida alayhi salatu wasalam. A man comes to the Imam and he says, Ya Imam, I'm going through this issue and this issue and this issue. Will you please do a specific dua for me, a special dua for me for these issues? And the Imam stops for a moment. He looks up at the man and he says, do you think I wasn't already praying for this? And the man says, Ya Imam, I only just asked you to pray for it. Why would you have been praying for it before? The Imam looks at me and he says, do you think I don't know what's going on with each and every one of my Shias? Do you think I don't get a report every day of the wants and needs of my Shias, that which is making you happy and that which is making you sad? If you're a follower of the Imam, a believer of the Imam, if you're loyal to your Imam, have no doubt, your Imam is looking out for you. Not as a nation, not as a people, not as a group, no, you as an individual. He's looking out for you as one individual person because he cares about you. That love we spoke about yesterday. We have that for our Imam and he has that for us. This level of loyalty that we have, it's not blind loyalty, no. It comes from a place of understanding. It comes from recognizing who our Imam is. You want to see what true recognition of the Imam is, what true loyalty is. One of my favorite stories amongst all of the stories of the companions of our Imams is the story of Hazrat Maysam al-Tammar. Hazrat Maysam al-Tammar was a great companion of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Imam Ali alayhi salam, throughout the time he spent with Hazrat Maysam, he told Hazrat Maysam of how he would leave this world. He was told, Maysam, there is a particular date tree or palm tree. You will be hung from that palm tree, from a great height. He even showed Hazrat Maysam which tree that would be. You know the honor and the spirit of sacrifice, of shahada. We see that in the life of Hazrat Maysam. Why? We all like to say, and we said it already in this majlis, we say, Ya Aba Abdullah, bi Abi Anta wa Ummi, I would sacrifice my mother and my father for you. We all like to think I would sacrifice myself for the Imam. The true spirit of sacrifice, we see this with Hazrat Maysam. Imam Ali alayhi salam tells Hazrat Maysam, Maysam, that tree there is the palm tree that you will one day be hung from. Why will you be hung? Because you refuse to give up on your love for me. You refuse to give up on your love for Amir al-Mu'mineen, so that palm tree there, one day from a great height, you'll be hung from that palm tree. What does Hazrat Maysam do? Most people around the world, what might they do? They'd go, they'd cut that tree down. They'd get rid of that tree, protect themselves. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, that's the tree, I'm getting rid of that tree. Hazrat Maysam does the opposite. He goes daily, if not daily, then every other day, and if not every other day, then at least once a week. Hazrat Maysam goes and he waters that tree. He tends to that tree. He takes care of that tree. Why? Because this is the tree where I will gain my shahadat. This is the tree where I will be able to sacrifice my life for Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is the tree where I will be able to show the world that Maysam was a true follower and a loyal follower of Amir al-Mu'mineen. But Amir al-Mu'mineen, he doesn't just stop there. He says, Maysam, there will come a time where you will be hung from this tree for your love of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And not only that, but Maysam, before they kill you, they will cut off your tongue as well. Hazrat Maysam, he remembered this in his mind always. This prophecy of Imam Ali, it was very renowned amongst the people. It wasn't a secret. People knew that Imam Ali has told Maysam this will happen. And so the rulers of the time, the rulers of that era, what did they do? They decided, you know what? We want to try, as they always would, to dishonor and disrespect the Ahlul Bayt. And the easiest way to bring dishonor to the Ahlul Bayt in this instance would be to try and prove them wrong, to make them seem as though they are liars. Imam Ali said with such conviction, Maysam, you'll be hung from this tree. And before you are hung from this tree, your tongue will be cut off. So, when it was decided that Hazrat Maysam would be hung from that tree, the rulers at the time, they decided, you know what? Let's make it so that Amirul Mu'mineen turns out to be a liar, na'udhu billah. Let's dishonor him in this way. How? Simple. We won't cut off Misam's tongue. We won't cut off Misam's tongue. Then Imam Ali, when he said that Misam's tongue would be cut off, he would be wrong. It would be incorrect. And if Imam Ali was incorrect, then how are people going to follow him? He will lose that following. And so, they hang up Hazrat Misam on this tree while he still has life left within him. Hazrat Misam, he begins reciting the dhikr of Imam Ali, the fadail of Imam Ali. He begins telling all the people who have gathered around that palm tree how great of a man Imam Ali alayhi salam was. The enemies of Islam, the enemies of Amir al-Mu'mineen, they're watching this. They're seeing the people, the crowd start to turn against them. They become worried. So what do? They decide we've got to stop him talking somehow. For as long as he talks, he will keep singing the praises of Imam Ali. So we have to stop him talking somehow. How do they stop him talking? There's only one way to stop Hazrat Misam talking. They pull him down. They open his mouth. They cut his tongue. Now you see, for anybody else, and I've said it again and again through this ashra, that would have been a moment of dishonor and disrespect. For Hazrat Misam, it's a moment we revere to this day. It's a beautiful virtue of Hazrat Misam that he gave not only his life but his tongue. Why? Because not only did it show his loyalty to Imam Ali, it proved to the world, no matter how much you try and dishonor and disrespect the Ahlul Bayt, it is simply not possible. It simply cannot be done. It simply cannot happen. And there's a beautiful line of poetry that goes to show what you get when you are amongst the loyal followers of Imam Ali, of Amirul Mu'mineen. The poetry in Urdu, I'll translate it for you guys in English. It very beautifully puts, and it describes the moment, it describes the time where these rulers, they were sat in their palaces. As Hazrat Misam was atop this tree singing the praises of Imam Ali, they became worried, they became concerned. So much so that they had to take action, they had to do something. The line of poetry very beautifully puts it. From the words of Hazrat Misam. It says, me, even atop this tree, about to give my life, I find myself at peace. You, sitting on a throne, still can't find comfort. You're sat on a throne and you can't be comfortable. I'm here about to be hanged from this tree. I'm comfortable and I'm happy. It's very famously stated that when Hazrat Misam left this world, he had a smile on his face. His tongue had been cut. He's being hung in front of the town, but he has a smile on his face. Hazrat Misam in that moment is smiling, sitting on their thrones. All the wealth of the world, the power of the Khilafah, the power of the government in their hands, still those rulers couldn't find comfort. You want to know what loyalty to the Imam gives you? It gives you that level of peace, satisfaction, serenity, that beauty that Hazrat Misam sees there. It gives you that level. I'm not going towards Masa'ib, but it gives you that level of peace that allows Sayyidah Zainab to say when she sees the body scattered in Karbala, وَمَا رَأَيْتُ إِلَّا جَمِيلًا, I saw nothing but beauty. I don't want to go towards Masa'ib, but think for a moment. What is Sayyidah Zainab talking about here? She's talking about the bodies of her loved ones. The body of her brother Hussein. Her family killed, slain, slaughtered, all in one day. وَمَا رَأَيْتُ إِلَّا جَمِيلًا, I saw nothing but beauty in that moment. That's the peace that loyalty to your Imam gives you. We spoke yesterday about love. Today we turn that up a notch. Hayhat min nadillah, keeping that dishonor and disrespect away from yourself. You have to step it up from love. Come find yourself at loyalty. Like I said, that loyalty for us in our lives, it looks like making sacrifices in our life. No one's telling you to sacrifice your life. No one's telling you to go and give your life for the religion. No, you're simply being told, make sacrifices within your life. Look, there will be things that you want and desire. There will be things that look attractive to you. There will be things that seem like they're not a big deal. But if you know they're wrong, sacrifice those. If you know they're wrong, don't go towards those. If you've already gone towards those, make that effort now. Take steps to move away from it. Because I promise you, if you can't turn off the TV when it's namaz time, you're not going to be able to stop your entire life when the Imam calls you. This is the call to prayer. That is the call for your life. If you want to be there for your Imam when he calls you, make sure you're there in this life. One of our great martyrs who has been killed in recent years, when he died, a very famous speech was given. And in that speech, the speech was made in Farsi, it was said, Shaheed shudan yani shaheed budan. To become a martyr, to become a shaheed, it requires for you to have already been a shaheed. It requires for you to have already lived your life as a martyr. You don't just flick a switch one day and all of a sudden you're at that great height and at that great level. Look at all these people who have given their lives in the way of Islam. All these great companions of our Imams. Hazrat Hamza, the uncle of the Prophet, a great companion, he gave his life. You look at Hazrat Maytham at-Tammar when he gives his life. You look at all of these great companions when they give their lives. Come to Karbala, look at the companions giving their lives there. Hazrat Hur, Hazrat Habib, Hazrat John, all of them giving their lives in Karbala. You think they spent their lives ignoring the Ahlul Bayt? You think they spent their entire life thinking, I'm going to do what I want, and then when the Imam calls me, I'll go then? That's not the case. The only time we see is Hazrat Hur alayhi salam. Hazrat Hur alayhi salam, even though he caused the massacre of Karbala through the leadership of his army, he still had respect for the Ahlul Bayt. He still remembered the Ahlul Bayt. You see, Hazrat Hur is a story of great forgiveness, but he got the chance to see that. He got the chance to see in front of him the clear sight of heaven and hell. For us, we've already been given that sight. It's up to us now to open our eyes, because the reality is we don't know how long we've got on this land. We don't know how many more breaths we've got. We don't know how much more we've got to live. For those who are a little bit older in the room, you guys will have seen it. Life really gives no promises. People leave this world at any age, at any time. You will lose friends to death when you are young, when you are old, when you expect it, and when you don't. There's no promise on life. Don't wait till you're older to become religious. Don't wait until you're baligh to start following the rules of Islam. Don't wait until you're an adult to start being strict with your religion, because nobody told you that you're definitely going to get there. Nobody promised you those days, and the reality is, for each and every one of us, there is no promise of life, only the promise of death. But when you are loyal to the Imam, when that moment comes, you too will have a smile on your face like that of Maytham at-Tammar. And again, those who are a little bit older in the room, and some of you who are younger as well might have seen this. When a mu'min leaves this world, there will have been so many occasions where you see that person, their body lying there with a smile on that face. Why? Because when a mu'min leaves this world, they don't simply go at the hands of Malakul Maut. No. The angel of death comes to take that soul, but to welcome them to their next world, the Imams arrive. Sayyidah Zahra arrives. Our holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam arrives. I myself am a witness. Many of the people in this room will have witnessed it. A mu'min, when they leave this world, you can see a smile on that face. That comes from that loyalty that they had. That comes from that love for the Ahlul Bayt. Because they are ready to meet the Ahlul Bayt in the next life. They are ready to spend their time with the Ahlul Bayt in the next life. That personality that they have spent their whole life revering, their whole life being loyal to, now they get their chance to meet those people, to meet those great personalities, to spend their time with them. And if you want to see what true loyalty looks like, true sacrifice looks like, that ability to give anything, come look at Karbala. In Karbala, we see sacrifice unlike anywhere else. There is a reason that there is no day like Imam Hussein's day. There is a reason that those companions are revered above so many others. Why? Because of the loyalty that they showed on that day of Ashura. On the day of Ashura, the loyalty we see within the companions of Imam Hussein is such that brothers were sacrificing brothers. Fathers were sacrificing sons. Mothers were sacrificing everything they had. They would give their husbands' lives. They would give their children's lives. They would give their brothers' lives. Allahu Akbar. The lives lost in Karbala, they weren't just individuals, no. These were brothers, friends, family to each and every one of those around the camps. Today we remember those two young brothers who, when they gave their life, they never forgot their oath of loyalty, both to Aba Abdullah and to their mother. Today we remember Hazrat Ana Muhammad, these two young princes of Sayyidah Zainab. You see the love that Imam Hussein and Sayyidah Zainab had between each other is unmatched and unlike anything we see around before. How do we know this? Amirul Mu'mineen himself, he said it. At the time when Bibi Zainab was being married to Hazrat Abdullah ibn Ja'far Tayyar, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says to Hazrat Abdullah, Abdullah, look, there are many fathers and sons in this world, but there are none like Yusuf and Yaqub. Abdullah, look, there are many families in this world, but there are none like the family of the Ahlul Bayt. Abdullah, look, there are many brothers and sisters in this world, but there are none like my Hussein and Zainab. There are no brothers and sisters that share that relationship the way Hussein and Zainab do. We often hear in Masa'ib that it was Sayyidah Zainab who raised Ali al-Akbar, Sayyidah Zainab who loved Akbar more than she loved her own sons. But we don't often hear Hussein loved Ana Muhammad the way he loved his own children. The way Zainab sees Akbar, Hussein sees Ana Muhammad. So when the time comes on Ashura that Ana Muhammad come up to their uncle, Hussein immediately tells them, no, go back, it is not time for your sacrifice. Again and again and again they come. The time comes where Abul Fadl Abbas, he prepares his young son for battle. Imam Hussein turns to Abbas's son. He says to Abul Fadl Abbas, Abbas, how many times will it be that I watch the sons and grandsons of Ummul Baneen give their lives? Sayyidah Zainab hears this. She turns to Bibi Fidda. She says, Fidda, where are my two children? Where are my boys? Bibi Fidda, she turns to Sayyidah Zainab. She says, oh lady Zainab, what can I say? Your two sons have been trying. Again and again they have gone to their uncle Hussein, but my master Hussein will not give them permission to go to the battlefield. Bibi Fidda says this. Sayyidah Zainab says to her, call my brother to me. Imam Hussein is summoned to the tent of Sayyidah Zainab. He arrives and Zainab looks at her brother. She says, tell me, why will you not let Zainab give her sacrifice? Hussein looks at his sister. He says, Zainab, how can I bear to see the tears in your eyes when you sacrifice your two children? Zainab looks at Hussein. She says, Hussein, if I tell you I will not cry, then will you let my children go? Amma Abdullah gives permission. Ana Muhammad are prepared, but they are prepared in a way where Sayyidah Zainab has gotten them almost ready to leave. Almost ready to go, but not quite. She comes up to Mawla Hussein with her two young men. She says, Hussein, my boys are nearly ready to go to the battlefield. There is just one thing left before they are ready. Imam Hussein says, tell me. Zainab says, Hussein, I want you to be the one to finally prepare these boys. Sayyidah Zainab walks over to one corner of her tent. She picks up a small wooden chest. She brings it forward in front of Aba Abdullah, and as she opens it, there are two amamas in the tent. In the chest, she lifts one up and hands it to Abu Abdullah. She says, Hussein, this is the amama of Hazrat Ja'far al-Tayyar. I want my son to wear it when he goes out to the battlefield. Hussein places it on his nephew's head. She lifts the other amama. She says, Hussein, this is the amama of my father Ali. I want my son to wear this as he goes out. Hussein places this amama on the head of his nephew. The two young men, they go out towards the battlefield. As they go, the armies cannot stop them. The armies cannot hold them back. When these two young men fight together, none can defeat them. At one point the cry is heard, separate the two boys. A row of soldiers charges towards the two boys, but they don't charge at On. They don't charge at Muhammad. Instead they charge right through the middle of them, splitting the two boys. On can't see his brother Muhammad. Muhammad cannot see his brother On. At one point, the Maqatil doesn't tell us who it was, but one of the brothers falls from his horse. He calls out to his brother to help him. The other brother comes rushing to help his brother. He is struck from his horse. The two fall to the ground. They call out to their uncle Hussein. They call out to Abu Abdullah. Hussein goes rushing out towards the battlefield. One of the young boys has already breathed his last breath. The other has some life left him. Abu Abdullah holds his nephew in his arms. He looks down at the child. The child looks up at him. He says to his uncle Hussein, "My uncle Hussein, if you would, can you carry out one final wish for me? One final request for me?" Abu Abdullah, he says to him, "Tell me, what is it you wish for your uncle to do? What can I do for you in this moment?" You want to see loyalty. Loyalty is what these young boys showed in that moment. He looks up at his uncle. He says, "My uncle Hussein, last night when my mother was preparing us for battle, on the 9th of Muharram, when she was preparing us for Ashura, she told us that she knows we are the grandchildren of Ali Murtada and Jafar Tayyar. She knows we will fight a brave war. My mother told us that if while we are fighting we reach the river Furat, to remember in our minds and our hearts that your Sakina and Asghar are still thirsty. Our mother told us while Hussein's children are thirsty, Zainab's children will not drink water. My uncle Hussein, my final wish in this moment, when you take our bodies back to the tent, will you tell my mother your children reached the river Furat, but the two boys turned away. They remembered your wish. They remembered your command. Zainab, your two children died thirsty." Abu Abdullah, he brings the two bodies back to the tent. The women come forward. They cry over the two children, but there is one lady who will not step forward. Sayyidah Zainab Awliya Khatun, the mother of these two young men, she refuses to step forward and cry over her children. My heart tells me maybe she remembers what she said to Hussein. "Hussein, if you see me cry, then what will happen?" Hussein said to her, "Zainab, how can I let your boys go knowing that you will shed tears over them?" Zainab does not cry here when her boys are brought back to the tents. But not just here. On the 11th of Muharram, Sayyidah Zainab, as the people are preparing, as the soldiers are preparing to take the family of the Ahlul Bayt away from Karbala, Sayyidah Zainab looks out over the battlefield. She looks to the body of her brother Hussein. She looks to the body of her brother Abbas. She looks over to where Akbar lays on the sand. But Zainab does not set her sights on her honor Muhammad in the prison of Sham. Sayyidah Zainab remembers everyone, but she does not cry for her honor Muhammad. When they are released from Sham, they hold a majlis there. Sayyidah Zainab, when all of the heads of the Shuhada are brought in, she does not take the heads of honor Muhammad in her hands. She does not cry for her two sons there. After that, they return to Karbala. Sayyidah Zainab goes to each grave. She cries over each shaheed, but she does not cry over honor Muhammad. They return to Medina. Zainab goes to the grave of Rasulullah. She says, "Ya Rasulullah." They cut off Abbas's hands. "Oh my grandfather Rasulullah." They trampled Qasim's body. They struck a spear into Akbar's chest. They attacked and killed my Hussein. But Zainab does not mention her honor Muhammad. The time comes where Sayyidah Zainab finally returns to her own home in Medina. Sayyidah Zainab, she enters her home. As she enters her home, she sees the room that once belonged to her two children. She sees two small musallas on the floor. She walks into the room. She picks up those musallas, holds them to her chest. We are told Sayyidah Zainab, she turned towards Karbala. She calls out, "Hussein, I did not cry in Karbala, nor Kufa, nor Sham. When I returned to Karbala, I still didn't cry. In Medina, I didn't cry. But Hussein, Hussein, I am a mother after all. Give me permission. Let me cry over my honor Muhammad today." ألا لعنة الله على قوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. We raise our hands in dua and we pray to Allah Azza wa Jal. Oh Allah, Accept all our ibadat in this holy month of Muharram al-Haram. O Allah, for all those mu'mineen around the world struggling with ill health, grant them complete shifa. O Allah, for all those mu'mineen who have left this world, and in particular the marhumeen of those present, raise their ranks in Jannah. O Allah, for all those struggling under oppression, grant them freedom from their oppressors. O Allah, hasten the reappearance of the Imam of our time and allow us to enter Jannah under his banner. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع الدعاء.